Hello students, economic sociology is that branch of sociology which holds its importance in the economic periphery of an individual, and it studies scientifically those social dimensions which hold its significance in the economic aspect. And development is that concept which is a very significant concept not only in the day to day life or the societal aspect, but also in the economic sociological aspect. In this video, we will talk about development in detail, and we will also discuss about indicators. We will discuss about the social, economical and political development. But before discussing in detail about all these types of development, first we talk about what actually the development is. Development implies an overall positive change in the physical quality of life. This positive change for the better encompasses economic as well as social aspects. Therefore, development not only calls for economic growth, but also the equitable distribution of the gains made from economic growth. In other words, development implies growth with justice. It means an improvement in the quality of life through better health, education, housing and overall material and social welfare. The basic elements which are involved in the process of development can be said removal of inequality and poverty, increases in material welfare of the people, increases in the social well-being of people by education, health and housing facilities. There must be an equitable distribution of the gains of development among different groups of people in a region or country, and enhancement in technology and the capacity to produce a wider range of goods and services in the economy, leading to a better quality of life. Building institutional structure which permit participation in decision making at all level results and commonly said as the part of the development. One term which is again associated with the term of development is growth. What actually they both are having its meaning in economical context. Let us talk about that. Economic growth means an increase in the value of all goods and services produced in an economy. The sum total of all goods and services in an economy is termed as the gross domestic product. Growth is therefore a sustained expansion in the productive capacity of an economy, leading to sustained rise in its GDP. Development on the other hand is a sustained improvement in the material welfare, particularly for those who are poor and afflicted by poverty, illiteracy and poor health conditions. Development is therefore a qualitative concept involving a qualitative improvement in the general standard of living in a country or economy. Thus, it is clear that development is a relative concept. It is a complex issue with many different definitions. The scientific study of development is important not only for psychology or for economics, it is important for students of sociology also, education also, healthcare also, means it has many meaning depending on the context it is being talked about. The United Nations Development Programme uses a more detailed definition that development is a lead long and healthy lives to be knowledgeable, to have access to the resources needed for a decent standard of living and to be able to participate in the life of a community. Achieving human development is linked to a third perspective of development which views it as freeing people from obstacles that affect their ability to develop their own lives and community. Development therefore is empowerment. It is about local people taking control of their own lives, expressing their own demands and finding their own solutions to their problem. Therefore, development commonly said as the upward movement of the entire social system. The social system, which includes many economic factors working on it and non-economic factors working on it, whether it deals with the production, consumption, it deals with the educational and health facility, wherever the administration of the forces is there, if it is done for the sake and for the betterment of the people, then it is treated in terms of development. It is in fact the learning about the development that can help us understand more about the causes of and solution to these problems, be better informed volunteers and addressing not just only superficial poverty related issues, but the deep rooted causes as well, because this is just only a visible phenomena. When a person is not able to get proper facilities, considered as poor, in a common way we talk about this, but when we talk about in an economical context, then definitely it has its specific meaning, and this specific meaning and explanation in terms of economic sociology done with within the umbrella concept of development. Development is often used in an exclusive economic sense. The justification bring that the economy has a pervasive influence in all society, and also the economy is itself an indicator of other socio-cultural features of a society. But development is a multi-dimensional concept. Development encompasses socially, politically, economically and environmentally sustainable development. The term which is closely or inherently associated with development is sustainable, means the concept of sustainability in all the dimensions of life prove helpful in the achieving of real meaning of development. In other words, development is nothing but human development, which involves social, political, economic and environmental dimension. Development is sustainable if it meets the needs of the present without compromising the ability of future generations to meet their own demands, was clearly explained by UN World Commission on Environment and Development. It is usually understood that this intergenerational equity would be impossible to achieve in the absence of present day social equity. If the economic activities of some groups of people continue to jeopardize the well-being of people belonging to other groups or those living in other parts of the world. In this way, development means different things for different people. To some people, it is the improvement in the economy, while to others, it is a political transformation, while for others, it is having specific meaning with the material aspects, yet to some others, it is a social change or movement towards a desired state of being. At the epicenter of development, there is men. Hence, the ultimate goal of development is to improve the people's welfare and quality of life by harnessing the available resources and creating resources where they are not available to meet their immediate and future needs. And this is the reason that development is the need of each and every society in each and every age. No society fully embodies all the developmental ideals, but there are some societies that have that was having affinity or have achieved some closeness to a reasonable degree. Such societies are regarded as developed societies. So, this development criteria definitely holds certain indicators. Now, different countries have different priorities in their development policies, but to compare their development levels, it is essential to make up one's mind as to what really constitutes development or what is supposed to be achieved and whether the same has been achieved, and this is done on the basis of the indicators of development. Indicators measuring these achievement could then be used to judge countries' relative progress in development, such as first, increasing national wealth, second, improving the well-being, whether it is in the context of nutrition, education, health and wealth of the majority of the population. Third, it is having significance and relationship with the people's freedom, and last is the increasing their social and economic security. But indicators of only wealth which reflect the quantity of resources available to a society do not provide sufficient information about the allocation and consumption of resources, whether equitable or not in terms of their distribution among different social groups. Thus, it is no wonder that countries with similar average incomes have difference in their context of development. When it comes to people's quality of life, access to education and health care, employment opportunities, availability of clean air and safe drinking water, threat of crime and so on, means there are various dimensions on which the difference can be seen. There are certain economic indicators also which make a country can be said as a developed. That can be said as in the context of gross domestic product, economic structure and aid received. The higher the ratio is, the greater the nation is regarded as developed. Social indicators are also there, which include literacy rate, life expectancy, people per doctor. Literacy rates includes the measure that a percentage of adults in a country who are able to read and write their common language. A higher literacy rate is an indication of higher standards of education and the good availability of the population to find formal employment. Life expectancy measure the average age at which a person of that country is likely to die, and people per doctor means the average number of people that could be seen by a doctor at any one time. This all indicators results in the human resource development, because human resource development constitute again an important component of social and economical life. Human resource development encompasses development of people's knowledge, skill and capabilities, their ability to adopt right values and beliefs and promote their aptitude in accordance with their fitness to meet the dynamic need of the institution, the society and the nation. This is the reason that human resource give due importance to human resource management. Until unless the proper management is done, the proper utilization of human resource is done, a nation cannot prosper and cannot grow in a very decent way. The HRD programs help in educating and training the manpower, development of human resources to make them vital, useful and purposeful. The development cannot be done in isolation. It can be done only with the man resource management, and for the man resource or the human resource management, it is essential to cope up with the scenario which is working in the recent trends. The structural adjustment policies and programs must be introduced to give due importance to the human resource of the particular area. The human resource development takes place through education and training. nurturing individuals and groups, tracking the employees' surveys, ratings, rewards and awards, people's empowerment and employee monitoring, etc. Therefore, it is associated with Human Development Index, which is a composite statistic used to rank countries by level of human development and separate high human development with medium human development and with low human development countries. The Human Development Index is a comparative measure of life expectancy, literacy, education and standard of living for countries worldwide. It is a standard means of measuring human well-being, and this is the reason that whether people are distributed in the various countries across the world, but still their performance or their proper utilization in the context of human resource management when done in a proper way, then only a nation can be regarded as a developed nation. If we talk about the major functions of HRD, it includes, in a nutshell can be said, recruitment, training and development of employees. It talks about the development of the executives, career planning and development, performance appraisal is done by HRD, successive planning and development, organizational change and development, employees benefits, role analysis, grievances redressal mechanism, all are the part of HRD. Now, we talk about the context of social development. Social development is about improving the well-being of every individual in society so that they can reach to their full potential. The success of society is linked to the well-being of each and every citizen. Social development is related to equitable development of all individuals, communities and social groups in a given set of social environment. It comprises of various dimensions with respect to people's culture, attitudes, aptitudes, desires, demands, objectives, expectations, beliefs, traditions, customs, passions, experiences, personality development, etc. in a given society, because all these altogether comprises of the manpower in a social system. Therefore, social development is a cross-cutting approach to development that promote policies and institutions in support of greater inclusiveness and equity in access to service, resources and opportunities. It works for the people to cope up with the chronic situations even in the society, but for the betterment of the society. There are some specific factors which affect the social development in general. Let us talk about that. First is the size of the population and social group. Second is languages and communication. Third is the education level of the society, and fourth is the religious practices and social harmony. Because of these factors, they mark an influence on an individual life, and if the individual get affected by these factors, definitely the process of development get affected by them. We know that development depends on both social and economic factors, and accordingly development indicators are distinguished into economic and second is social, which is non-economic indicator. But the factor responsible for an overall improvement of quality of life are taken as social indicators. Therefore, social indicators are essential to keep in mind when we talk about the process of development, because social indicators include growth and transformation. It talks about the employment opportunity, deals with the poverty and inequality, health, education, social cohesion, safety and security, good governance, peace, international peace, all these are the indicators for the social development, and the proper maintenance and strategy in the achievement of these indicators prove in the growth of the society. Next we talk about the political development, which may be defined as an increasing political unity and broadening the base of political participation. In general, when the people fully participate at input end and their capacity of political system increase, this is political development. Broadly, we can say the political development is the development of the institutions, attitudes and values that form the political power system of a society. Political development defined in a various ways by various scholars, and one formulation dwells on the emergence of national sovereignty and the integration of the states, demanding respect and upholding commitment in the international system. Means the overall gist of the phenomena is to have a strong political system prove helpful in the development of that society which stress or which give emphasis on the equitable distribution of the resources. We will discuss now about the broad factors that influence the political development. First is the nature, type and character of political system and government of the country. Second, its strength, it gives strength to vital institution governing political development. Third, it talks about the linkages that exist between political development and economic development. Fourth, it talks about the functions and responsibilities of political systems in the country. Balance of payments and its factors and actions of government are also the part of the political development. Therefore, the prime issue of political development and the major problems which are faces because of economic development in India include low per capita income and low rate of GDP. No doubt various forces are working and various mechanism is giving impetus for the development and a good growth in GDP also, but still we are talking in a general context that these are the problems which takes place. High proportion of people below poverty line, low level of productive efficiency of resources, imbalances between heavy industry and wages, imbalances in the distribution of the income and wealth and growing inequalities. These are the prime issues of economic development which are taking place. And here it is important when we talk about the political development to keep in mind these issues of economic development can be rectified or sought out with the proper planning and proper functioning of the political processes. So, the combination of the political processes along with the good growth rate in a society both goes hand in hand. The individual indicator of economic development include GDP per capita, high rate of literacy, high life expectancy, demographic indicators and other social indicators. In this way, it is very important that development is not having specific meaning with the material aspect of life. It is having its significance in the social context also, political context also, economic context also. This is the reason that in this video particularly we have discussed about social development, economic development and political development. But all these types of development, all the aspects of life which are associated to development is because of the human resource development. So, the ingredient or the underlining core content for the development is the development of man in all the respects, and the development of human resource ultimately results in the development of the nation. In order to talk about the development of any nation, it is very important to talk about the development of human resource index, and human resource index get revealing its result in the literacy rate, life expectancy rate and many other dimensions which are already discussed in this video. To sum up about this video, it is important to share once again what we have talked about development in this video. We have discussed about the meaning of development, and we have also discussed about the indicators which are related to development, discussed about the social development in the societal context, and also discussed about the political development in political aspect, and also about the economical development in the context of economy. The overall the concept and the correlation of human resource and development is explained in this video. Whatsoever be the concern of study, it is important as a student of economic sociology that we must have a detailed description about the meaning and the indicators of development in general, and about the meaning and indicators of social development, economic development and political development in particular, because any nation can be regarded and can be placed in the category of developed nation when all these three specific development areas are compensated by any development of a nation, and that is ultimately resulting in the development or the better life of a citizen of a nation. Thus, to achieve the target of getting a nation as developed nation or developing nation, it is important to focus on the concept of development. No doubt life has changed drastically from ancient times to modern times to the present age, but still if we talk and if we compare nations on the basis of their development, a lot of things are required to be done in the context of India. India is definitely raising higher its power, working on the grounds of economy, politics and social life, but still a lot of things are required to be done. And in this context, literacy, education rate, life expectancy, good health conditions, nutrition makes a vital position. In order to achieve the target to make a nation a developed nation, human resource required to get all the facilities and the proper utilization of all those facilities ultimately result in the categorization of nation as a developed nation. Economic sociology is that applied branch of sociology which gives its association with economics, and economics in itself has its association with consumption, production and distribution of resources, whether it is natural resources, and when it comes to the human resources, then again the relevance, the importance, the significance of human resource management cannot be ignored. So, in this video particularly we discussed in detail about the development, which means the movement upward of the entire social system, and this social system encloses, besides the so called economic factors, non-economic factors, which includes consumption by various groups of people, consumption provided collectively, education and health facilities, and the levels, the distribution of power in the society, and more generally economic, social and political stratification. Thus, the overall development of a nation depends on the development of human resources, and for the sake of the betterment and good life for the citizens of a nation, it is important to focus on the economic and political indicators of development, which provides proper strategy to grow as a developed nation. As a part of economic sociology, it is important to discuss in detail about the concept of development in the present era of post globalization. Though in this theme of economic sociology, we will definitely talk about the process of globalization also, but when we are talking about the concept of globalization, when we are talking about the concept of modernization in the present scenario, the concept and the study of development process cannot be ignored. Therefore, keeping the fruitful investigation in mind, it is important to discuss in detail about the process of development. That was the core content of this video.